name is Regan and I'm a pornography addict. Today I just want to tell you a little bit about my story about how I recovered from that. My addiction started when I was about 13 years old. I started acting out, but I didn't really realize that I was an addict until I was about 19. And that's like 6 years. So you're probably thinking like, wow, Regan, that's crazy. You're crazy. But it was just because I didn't act out super often, at the beginning at least. And when I did act out, it wasn't as much as I thought like an addict would. And so I didn't even put 2 and 2 together and think like, oh wait, I'm an addict. That's why I'm doing this. But when I was about 18, my addiction got worse and I started acting out a lot and got to the point where it was about every day. And I was in a really dark place. I really didn't like who I was because my addiction was so bad. I was talking to a friend at the time who told me that he was a pornography addict, and that kind of helped me realize that I was an addict as well. And so when I was 19, I told my parents that I thought that I was probably an addict, and they helped me find a sponsor, and then I was able to go through the 12-step program and get clean. There isn't exactly a 12-step program for like pornography addiction specifically. And so I just went through the AA 12-step program and just like when it said alcoholics, I just said like pornaholic or porn addict instead. And I was able to get clean through going through those 12 steps. When I started in the 12-step program, the first few steps were pretty easy for me just because I already knew that I believed in God and I accepted that He was like my higher power and that I needed to like give all of myself to Him. But when I got to the step 4 of confessing everything and then making right everything I had ever done wrong, that was just really hard. And depending on where you're at with your relationship with God and your relationship with yourself, like different steps are going to be different for different people. And some are going to be harder and some are going to be easier. But one of the things that helped get me through it the most was that I had a sponsor. And so I would tell my sponsor when I was feeling tempted to act out, and I would tell my sponsor like how I was doing and talk with them every week and ask them questions. And it ended up being like a really amazing experience for me. And then once I got through step, I think it's 4, where you confess everything that you've ever done wrong, I all of a sudden, like, it wasn't as hard for me to not act out anymore. And obviously I still acted out until I was through the 12 steps completely. But after that, it was like I wasn't like trapped anymore. I wasn't stuck. And it was just easy for me to go through the rest of the 12 steps and then get permanent sobriety. Since I have completed the 12-step program a few years ago, I have had some relapses. Because it's hard to stay sober and everyone has relapses and you're going to struggle. But that doesn't mean that you're not healed and that God doesn't still love you and that the 12 steps weren't worth it. Because every time I've acted out since then, it's been really minor and it's been easy to jump back into sobriety from the relapse. So if you're an addict and you're watching this and or even if you don't think that you're an addict and then you're watching this and you're like, oh, maybe I'm an addict. Or if you know that you're an addict, you're struggling with pornography or any kind of addiction or sex addiction, just like find a sponsor. And we have sponsoring on our website so that you can get that sobriety that you need. But that is what is going to keep you sober, and that's what's going to keep you away from those things in your life that you don't want to be there. Like, all of the times that you're acting out, you don't want to be acting out, you know? The whole time, like every time I would act out, the entire time I was acting out, I would be thinking, I don't want to be doing this. I hate myself for doing this, or this is dumb, or why am I doing this in the first place? But that's why it's so amazing to have sobriety and to be able to not be in that anymore. So if you're struggling, find a sponsor, tell someone that you love that you're struggling and get the help that you need. And just know that you can do this and you're amazing and God loves you and that's all.